And here we go. Cool. So let's start seated. Have your strap or some kind of belt or blanket handy if you need it. And oh, hi Mimi. Thanks for joining. Good to see ya.
Did you get your whatever fixed?
Yeah, we were just talking about that. About what we were gonna do about that. So I think I'm just gonna have another live one. I'll let you guys know when. It'll either be at the end of the session or perhaps like on a Saturday morning or something like that. And I'll just have it live and then I'll record it also. If that's kind of what we were talking about, what we were gonna do with that, if that's okay with everybody. But feel free to email me after this too if you guys have any questions or suggestions. So so we'll start sitting up tall, and let's just take some movements. Let's move the arms out and make big circles with the arms in both directions. Just roll out the shoulder nice and gently. So we can shake it out, roll it out. You roll the neck, roll the shoulders. And then let's just take a quick twist. We'll reach the arms up overhead. Take a big breath in. And then big breath out, we'll twist and just bring your hand to opposite knee. And we'll take 3 big breaths before we get to our meditation. And just slightly twisting at the mid-spine with each exhale. And then we'll take a big breath in and reach the arms up, untwist. And then big breath out, twist, other side. Just taking 3 big breaths on this side. So we'll inhale and untwist and reach the arms back up. And then exhale, both arms reach out and back down to the ground. Nice, and we'll rest the hands onto your lap. And we'll turn the palms up to the ceiling. And we'll bring the first finger and thumb to touch, finding that connection between those 2 fingertips. And we'll close the eyes. And settling in bone by bone, letting the pelvic girdle and the sits bones sink into your surface that you're sitting upon. Also lengthening through the spine, through the crown of the head. And just as you breathe, settling in, imagining roots, almost like roots growing down into your mat, into the earth, as well as the head growing taller and the spine becoming longer. The breath becoming gradually slower and slower, and deepening the breath into your low belly. Inhaling, letting the low belly become like a balloon, and exhaling to deflate that balloon in the low belly. And then I invite you, while you're arriving into your space today, start to build a little bit of warmth into your throat, constricting the airway slightly so that you can feel that warmth building up into the throat and the mouth, and possibly being able to vocalize and hear that breath a little bit better with that slight restriction of the throat, or we also call that the Ujjayi breath. So we'll take a few rounds of breath here, just as we are like this, and just build some warmth into the body and arrive into your space. And as we breathe, also just observing the presence that we have around us. Even though we're not physically next to each other, we are all together in this community over this Zoom call. So just appreciating your virtual neighbor joining alongside you. And we'll take about 3 more big breaths here on your own. We'll meet bringing our hands together in prayer position in front of the heart and bowing the chin towards the chest. And just observing how you're feeling in this moment right now, so we can compare it to something at the end of our session here. Just a quick body scan of the mind, the body, a quick check-in. And when you're ready, we'll start to blink the eyes open, opening up your eyes to look down at your palms. Then we'll bring hands to lap, and we'll bring head back up to neutral. And we're gonna straighten one leg out to the side, keeping one foot to the inner thigh, whichever leg you want to start with. And then we're just gonna side bend towards the straight leg, keeping the heart facing forward. You can look any direction. You can change direction with the head if you want to, or look up. Whatever sounds good. And stretch just far enough until you can feel it, but it's not painful, because we're gonna try to be here for 5 breaths if possible. So if needed, come out and rest or walk your fingers closer towards you. We'll take 4 more breaths. Spreading the toes of the straightened leg foot. One more breath. And then we're going to stay side bending here slightly, but we're just going to rotate your heart towards the straightened leg and just find a center fold towards that straight leg. Let's all inhale together and lift a little bit to lengthen your low back. And then exhale, lead with the heart, fold any amount. Spread the toes the best you can. And we'll breathe. If you would like, if you need more, you can reach your hand towards your foot if you'd like. And that kind of adds an extra stretch through the side body. Or you could reach the calf or the knee as well. You can customize it. We'll take 3 more breaths. So we're going to really stretch this muscle here. That's part of that low back pain. This is a good one for low back, especially after shoveling. Oh my gosh. That shoveling will get you. We'll take 1 more breath. And we'll inhale, walk your way back up to center. And then we'll just twist to counter pose. So we'll reach your hand to your knee. Other hand reaches behind, and we'll just gently twist away from the leg, the straight leg. Fabulous. We'll come back to center. Feet come together into a butterfly, and we'll flutter the legs a little bit to help open up the hip flexors. Help relax those muscles a little bit. Good. We're going to inhale. We're going to sit up tall and lengthen, and then exhale, fold, curl and round. Take a big breath. And then we'll inhale, roll back up to seated, sitting up tall. And then we'll switch to the other side. So other leg straightens, sole of the other foot comes to the inner thigh. Spread the toes the best you can. We'll still face forward, lengthen, and then when you're ready, side bend, still facing forward. Awesome. Use that other hand to support. You can press to help anchor both hips down if needed. Make this your own. Keep it so that you can hold it somewhat comfortably and breathe. One more breath. Make that last one count. Then we'll rotate the heart towards the straightened leg, readjusting here by lifting about halfway to lengthen the low back. Splay the toes out wide, and then exhale, lead with the chest, fold forward any amount, fingertips to the floor, or you can reach to the pinky edge side of your leg anywhere. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to just let gravity fold to the amount that you feel comfortable with here. 3 more breaths. Good. Then we'll slowly walk your way back up, and we'll twist, reaching your hand to the knee, other hand behind you, and a nice little gentle twist to counter pose. Cool. We'll unwind. We'll come back forward. Feet come together into butterfly. We'll hold on to feet or ankles, and we'll flutter the knees again real quick. And then while we're here, since we're already here, we'll bring the legs out wide into the shape of a V. And we'll just do a center fold here. So you can shift the sitting bones side to side to get them grounded again. So you can sit up nice and tall, toes spread wide, flex the feet, lengthen, inhale, and then just folding any amount. It might be just an inch or two, or some might come down to forearms or reach the hands forward. Every inhale, lengthen through the low spine. Every exhale, let your chest become heavy, letting the chest use gravity to come forward without pulling yourself forward of any kind, just using gravity. Let's take 5 breaths here. I forgot to count, but probably 1 or 2 more breaths. Never hurts to breathe more. Nice. Finish 1 more. Then we'll walk your way back up. Nice and carefully. Hands come to the backs of your knees. And we'll guide the legs back together with the hands to support, and we'll shake it out, roll it out. And then, yeah, while we're here, let's roll the ankles. Nice big circles, roll them out. Will help keep the joints there nice and healthy. And then reverse the circles. Help lubricate the joints there. And then let's just do some pointing and flexing. Super exciting, I know. There we go. Just to warm it all up and keep it nice and healthy. Cool. So we're going to come to tabletop position. Using any props if needed, if you need something under the knees. I think I do actually. I'm going to use my blanket. And I'm going to add a sip of water. Cool. We'll come to tabletop. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit higher. There we go. I think that ought to do it. So we're going to lift whichever leg, kind of like a dog at a fire hydrant. I think I've compared it to that before. We're just going to make big circles, slow or medium pace circles, rolling out the ball joint. And with the hands, remembering to keep the weight even through all 10 fingers. Good, reverse the circle. And even try to practice that hasta bandha or hand lock by pressing through the tips and the pads of the fingers. Nice. And then we'll bring that knee back down to the mat, and we'll take the other side. Same on this side. Nice big circle. Ooh, it only takes me a couple times to really feel the warmth build in that joint or in the hip muscles there. And then reverse your circle. This is one of the warm-ups a lot of track star athletes do as well to help keep those hip joints nice and healthy. Nice. Then we'll bring both knees back down to the mat once it feels somewhat even on both sides. And then let's stretch out our shoulders. We'll stretch the back of the shoulders. We'll reach whichever arm you want to start with up to the sky. We're going to thread the needle. And when you're ready, we'll thread the needle. Whatever you want to do with that front hand. And we'll take nice big breaths into that, whatever arm you're using. We'll breathe into that shoulder blade. Resting the head all the way to either the ground or a prop. You guys know what to do here. One more breath. And plant your hand back in front of the face if it's not already. And inhale, sweep your arm back up to the sky. And we're going to step it back into a modified side plank, stepping your whichever leg matches the arm that's up in the sky. Come to the inner edge of the foot and find your modified side plank here. And you reaching the hand straight up to the ceiling, or you can reach it back any amount, twisting your heart towards the sky to open up the pectoral muscles. Good. Next breath, both hands and knees come back to table. And we'll prepare for the second side, for thread the needle. So setting up as needed. I'm gonna put my hair back here. You're gonna reach your other arm up to the sky and thread it through when you're ready, if you haven't already. One side sometimes can be different, and that's fine. Just adjust accordingly. For me, my right side is always my tighter side, being right-handed. I don't know if there's any, I feel like there has to be a lefty in this group. Feel free to shout out if you're a lefty. My dad is left-handed, actually, but he actually is ambidextrous, side note. He forced himself to be, because he went to one of those Catholic schools where they force you to be right-handed. Yeah, let's take one more breath here and thread the needle. Breathe into that shoulder blade, the trap muscles there, and plant the front hand in front of you if it's not already. Inhale, press the floor away. Arm reaches back up to the sky and step it back into your side plank position. Reaching straight up to the sky, or you can reach it back and turn the heart up to the ceiling. And when you're ready, both hands and knees come back to the mat, back to tabletop. Good. Curl the toes under, walk the hands forward a little bit to create some space between where the feet are and where the hands are. And practice that Hasta Bandha again, locking the fingertips and pads of the fingers into the mat. Maybe shift the weight a little bit to test the suction of each hand onto the mat. Then we'll lift the hips, downward dog, and we'll pedal it out. Bending one knee at a time, straightening the other. Coming down to rest when you need to. I'm gonna remove my socks because I was cold, and now I can use my feet. There we go. So we'll hold downward dog for a little bit and feel free to rest when you need to. Take those movements or just be still. And once you get settled, pay attention to the breath again. Maybe lifting up through the heels and letting them sink back down, or the pedaling motion. And eventually just finding some stillness here in this pose, shifting the weight as much back towards the legs as you can, taking pressure off of the arms and the wrists. Good. Next breath, bring your knees down to the mat if they're not already. We'll take our chaturanga here. We'll shift forward, arms in tight for a tricep push-up almost. And we're gonna lower all the way down, nice and slow, chaturanga to the floor. And we'll inhale, peel the heart forward, and take any back bend of your choice. If you want to keep it low and find a baby cobra, or if you want to come up to a sphinx, coming up to forearms, or you could even come up to your up dog, lifting the legs off of the mat. Let's take 3 big breaths in your back bend of choice. Pulling the heart forward. Then we'll rest the head down either onto one side or onto your stacked hands. And we'll bend your knees and sway the feet side to side. Giving your abdomen a little massage and taking pressure off the low back. Good. We'll straighten the legs and bring the feet back to the mat. We'll place the palms onto the mat. And inhale, we'll press up, back up through table, and exhale, child's pose. Toes together, knees are either hips width distance, or you can bring them almost out as wide as the mat. And we'll take 5 breaths here, letting the hips sink towards the heels with gravity. Take another breath to prepare. And when you're ready, slowly come back to downward dog. That's where we're gonna meet. Good. And then let's practice our 3-legged dog. We're gonna step your right leg up to the sky. And if this is feeling not right for any reason, you can bring the knee down and extend the leg out. That's your modified version there. So right leg reaches up, we'll bend the knee, and then we'll roll the knee into big circles here. Just 1 or 2 in one direction, and then another 1 or 2 in the other direction. And then we're going to inhale, straighten the leg, take a big breath in, and then big breath out, step it all the way forward in between your hands, and you can definitely help it to get there. back knee is going to come down. So feel free to put it onto a blanket or pillow just to find your low lunge. You might want to come up to your any homemade props if you want to come up higher for less intensity. Otherwise, fingertips to the mat. And we're just going to rock forward and back. Check in so that this front knee is protected. We don't want the knee to be coming past the toes like this. So keeping the knee somewhat over the ankle is a nice safe way here. If for any reason it's hurting to be on your knees right now, you can come to your back and just hug your right knee into your chest, and that'll be really good too. So you can always, if you're watching the recording, you can pause this and come onto your back and do that variation. Otherwise, we'll rock forward and back a couple more times, waking up the hip flexors and that one really annoying muscle, the iliopsoas, that can get really tight. And next time you rock forward, we're going to come up, reaching the arms up to the sky, finding your Anjaneyasana. I'm going to move my camera up a little bit. Head's always cut off. What are you going to do? Come up to your Anjaneyasana, arms up to the sky. Unshrug the shoulders. And breathe. Find that drishti or focal point to look at, or you could look up to the sky. And using the breath to keep you tall and strong here. We'll take 1 or 2 more rounds if you're still with us. And we'll reach back forward to the mat or your props, and we'll step it back either if you want to lift the knee and come back to downward dog, or if you want to just step it right back to your tabletop. Either way, we're going to meet back in downward dog and walk it out. We're going to come through chaturanga next here, so take a breath in to prepare. And breath out, come forward to your plank or knees down. Inhale to just shift your heart forward a little bit, and then exhale, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, any back bend of your choice. Exhale, come down to rest. Bend the knees again, and we'll sway the feet side to side for a moment. Nice. We'll straighten the legs back onto the mat. Palms come back to the mat. Big breath in, come up through table, and breath out, child's pose. Take 1 more breath in child's pose. Then we'll come on up and over, downward dog. Of course, for this next round, you can use those options to modify that we did on the other side. Otherwise, we're going to come back to downward dog. And inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky. Bend your left knee and roll the knee in a nice big circle, 1 or 2 circles in either direction or both directions. And the next inhale, straighten your left leg. Nice big breath out, step it all the way forward in between the hands. Can help it to get there and set up for your lunge on this side. Aligning so the knee isn't past the toes, it's about over the ankle, adding any height that you need with blocks. I have my blocks scattered everywhere here, but imagine I have blocks here. We're going to come forward and back when you're ready. Once you're all centered. Nice. I love seeing you all with me here. So nice to see all of you. And breathing in and out. And next time you are lunging forward, or if you're on your back, come back up to your lunge if possible. And then we're going to sweep the arms up to the sky, adjusting accordingly. Sometimes I need to pull or plug the hip kind of back inward so that I'm not overstretching. You don't want to stretch to the point where you feel any pain. It's normal to have a little discomfort, but finding that difference sometimes can be hard, especially in the moment. So it's always better to be careful because, you never know. Like I started doing a different workout routine recently, and I found out that forward and backward lunges, I just cannot do anymore because I will injure myself. So you just got to find those things, I guess. Let's take another breath or two. I'm just rambling here because I miss you guys. I haven't seen you in forever in person. Yeah, take a big breath, nice and powerful. And then we'll come down, hands meet the mat, and however you want to get there, downward dog. Either you lift the back knee and get there, or you can come back through tabletop to get there. Walk it out. We're going to take our chaturanga one more time. So take a breath in to prepare your body to move. Breath out, come forward through plank or knees down. Inhale, shift the heart forward so the shoulders are a little bit more aligned with the fingertips. Exhale all the way down, chaturanga, nice and slow. And peel the heart forward, any back bend that you'd like here. Maybe press through the tops of the feet this time. Maybe continuing to pull the heart forward and keeping the neck long. Both the front and the back of the neck is long. Taking your last breath in this back bend. And then we'll come down to rest. And once again, we'll bend the knees and sway the feet side to side. And when you're ready to, when the back is feeling ready, we'll come back up and over and sink back into child's pose just for a breath or two. And then we're going to flip onto our backs after this. So just take a brief child's pose. Child's pose is a great time to check in both with the breath and with any thoughts that are entering the mind. Just reminding yourself that thoughts are only thoughts, they're not reality. Thoughts are just something our brains can create, but not real. Or a lot of times our brain tries to make us time travelers. We come to future thoughts or past thoughts. And that's an interesting thing too. But just bringing yourself back to the current breath is the tool. We'll take one more breath here. Great. We'll come up and come onto our backs. And once you come to your back, grab onto what you're using as a strap. For me, I have a resistance band here, or if you have a towel or a belt, or you don't have to use a strap necessarily. You can always just hold on to your pants. Those are great ways too. So we'll come onto our backs. Let's see, how much time do I have? Actually, I should check on that, shouldn't I? Okay, cool. We're still good. We'll come onto our backs. And we're gonna bring the strap onto one of your legs, or onto the sole of your foot, I should say. And we'll extend it up to the ceiling. So adjusting as needed. Some of you might prefer the left foot on the mat and bending the left knee. And others, if you're wanting more, you can straighten the left leg and press down through the back of the left knee towards the floor, if that serves you here. And once we're all here, we're just stretching those hamstrings and the calf muscles. If your calf muscles are really tight, you could even kind of inch or scoot your strap up closer towards the ball of your foot, closer to the toes, and that'll help isolate more of a stretch into your calf muscles if that's a problem area for you, as it is for me. And once you are holding on to what you're using as a strap, or if you're holding on to the back of your knee or to your pants, try to relax the shoulders and the head resting completely back onto the mat. And bringing the strap or homemade strap into your right hand and opening the leg out to the right side when you're ready to do that. Any amount, keeping both hips anchored down. Flexing both feet and spreading all 10 toes, of 5 toes for each foot. I was going to say 10 toes on each foot.
slowly pull the right leg back up towards the ceiling. Switch hands with your strap, bringing it into your left. Right arm reaches out to the shape of a T, out to the side. And then we'll let the leg fall to the left, coming into a twist. So where you could either keep your hips, both hips onto the ground, or if you're feeling it, you can allow this right hip to lift off of the ground to twist the spine. The foot will most likely hover. Some people, your foot might touch the ground, but totally doesn't matter. And breathe. Next breath in, we're going to come back to center. The right leg comes back up towards the ceiling. Grab onto the strap with the right hand again. And we're just going to bend the right knee towards the right armpit, imagining like you're doing a half happy baby. So if you're doing happy baby, you'd have both. So this is like a half happy baby, just bringing the knee in towards the armpit. If your left knee is straight, go ahead and bend your left knee and plant the left foot onto the mat. And we'll cross the right ankle on top of the knee. You can keep the strap or remove it. And then we'll find our seated pigeon, either keeping the foot planted or hugging it in for your seated pigeon. Try to flex the feet and spread the toes. Let the shoulders relax once you find the resistance. And breathing into the outer right hip. As you're breathing, we're going to transition this into a twist. Option A, either twisting with the feet as they are, planting the right foot down onto the floor. You can hold on to it for support if you'd like, or if that's uncomfortable, just go ahead and stack your right knee on top of the left for a supine regular twist. Whichever option there, and breathe. And I forgot to give options to turn your neck, but do so as you wish. If you want to turn your neck or keep it neutral, it's up to you. Finish this side with one more big breath. And then we'll unwind, straightening the legs back long onto the mat. Oh, there's the strap. And we'll just straighten the legs long for a moment. Find a still position on your back. And just observe how the right side feels compared to the left. if there's a difference or not. Nice. And now we'll even it out. We'll take the strap and bring it along the sole of your left foot. You might need to get up for this sometimes. And whatever you want to do with the other leg, keep it bent or straight. And adjusting the strap to the part of your foot that feels the best on your hamstrings and your calf muscles. Maybe scooting it up towards the toes or towards the mid arch of the foot. You can experiment. And letting the shoulders relax once you get there. We hold enough stress in our shoulders as it is. And today we kind of ended up doing a lot of hip opening today, which I'm really happy about, because hip opening is so good, especially, I mean, I feel like opening anything during the winter is good, because during the winter time, everything kind of tightens and stiffens and closes up. So really, you know, any opening is good in the winter, but the hips especially, we want to keep our hips nice and healthy. And our legs, keeping our balance nice and steady. And when you're ready, we're going to open out to the left, opening the muscles in the inner thigh. You can use your hand to anchor your right hip down if it lifts a little bit. Slowly, using your breath, bring your leg back towards the ceiling, switching your hands with the strap to twist, and then letting the leg come any amount over to the right side to twist. Hip lifts or stays grounded. Head turns, or you can keep the head safe and neutral. One more breath. Then we'll come back to center one more time here. If it's not already, we'll bend the right knee and place the right foot onto the mat. Cross over, crossing the left ankle over the right knee. You can keep the strap or remove it. And finding your stretch for your outer left hip this time. Foot stays or lifts. Spread the toes. Breathing in and out through the nose as if you're cooking a big pot of soup and you want to get a nice big whiff of all the spices. And then we'll twist. We'll let the legs fall over to the right side, either keeping this position, planting the foot on the ground, or stacking the knees, whatever your favorite is. And I like to hold on to the ankle with my hand to keep it supported. You can bring your hands anywhere. You can bring them out to a T. You can rest them on your body. I don't know if you can hear, I hear the church bells going. I got a really big church right next to my house, actually. So I hear the church bells every hour. Super cool. Next breath, we'll come back to center and we'll finish off with happy baby. If you want first, you can straighten the legs and just kind of find some stillness for a moment, if that's something that interests you here. And then we'll come to happy baby if you're not already. You can be still or rock side to side. Yeah, we really loosened up the hips today. Happy hips, happy life. Thank you, cat. We got our yoga cat here. She's sitting by the computer. Is that your spot? Okay, that's a good spot. Cool, so we'll get ready for Shavasana. Take any last poses you like. Anything you're inclined to, maybe even bridge pose if you wanted to lift the hips and take bridge, or a full body stretch, or a twist, or swaying the knee side to side. And setting up so that you're comfortable for Shavasana. If you need a blanket, or if you want to change rooms, if you want to lay on your couch or on the mat, whatever you prefer. I'll get closer. And taking a sip of water. And we're gonna take a little Shavasana. I know it's a little after 12, but I think we started a little late anyway, so I hope that's okay. So we're going to close the eyes when you're ready and get comfy. I'm gonna take a sip of water actually. If you guys could see, my cat is right next to my computer. It's really funny, she's just staring at me. Oh, thank you, you're so helpful. Awesome, looks like everyone's comfy. So closing the eyes, as always, and just letting the eyes roll back naturally as all of those eye muscles soften, as well as the forehead, the eyebrows, and your third eye. And relaxing your tongue to the bottom of your mouth, letting the jaw hang heavy and the throat softening as you feel that warmth of your breath
feeling the warmth of your exhales and the coolness of your inhales, feeling that temperature difference. Relaxing shoulders, arms, and your hands and fingers. Whether your hands are resting on your body or if they're onto either side with the palms up to the sky. And as you breathe, letting go of any lingering worries or anxiety within the chest, the rib cage, and the diaphragm. And sending that relaxation downward through your abdomen and your low belly. Letting the breath travel all around the body. Softening hips, legs, feet, and toes. Letting them fall either inward or outward, depending on the position. And now what's left here is just you and your breath, with which a lot of us, when you're stressed, that can be a really scary feeling of just being alone with your thoughts and the sound of your own breath and body. But entering this space with the mindset of safety and knowing and reminding ourselves that the thoughts that enter in and out of the mind will never stop, but we can observe the thoughts in a different perspective, using that third eye wisdom to view everything in a third person's perspective rather than allowing each thought to eat away at our mind. Because like I mentioned earlier, the brain loves to time travel to the past or the future. So just turning that time machine off for now and drawing yourself back to the breath in this current moment whenever you remember to. Because Shavasana is a very passive experience that allows us to process everything. So just letting go of any expectations around that. Taking a big breath in through your nose and a big breath out. And we'll just take a few minutes here to take our Shavasana. Letting go and breathing.
Next time the lungs are emptied, take a big breath in through your nose, taking the biggest inhale you've taken all day, and then exhaling out through the mouth. Coming back to your body by wiggling fingers and toes. Circling wrists, ankles. Maybe turning the head side to side or full body stretch. And then rolling over to one side, resting your head comfortably and stacking the knees. And laying on your side before arising back to real life, reminding yourself of one or a couple things that you're grateful for. We'll slowly come up to rise, sitting tall as usual and breathing in and out through the nose. And we'll meet with hands in prayer position in front of the heart. And we'll bow the chin to the chest. And as you breathe, I ask you here briefly to yourself, how does it feel to be you and your body right now in this very moment? And comparing how you feel now to how we did earlier in the beginning of this class. Thank you again so much for being here with me. It means a lot. Namaste. Awesome. Thanks so much. Have a great week. I hope
Yeah.
everyone
You too, Kat. Thank you.
Enjoy it.
enjoy.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kat.